Okay. Anong geometric transformation ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon? Ano
Version.
to? Translation? Ano to? Raft turn? Ano to?
Uh, Rules turn.
Okay.
Full turn, full turn.
Bibigyan kita ng clue. What geometric transformation do you think is our topic for today? Kailangan mo pa ba ng clue?
Quasi.
Bibigyan kita ng clue, ha? Parang ano, is the missing letter a consonant or a vowel? It's a vowel. Alam mo na?
Mission letter. Saan po?
The missing letter is a vowel. Have you figured it out?
Ah,
Almost.
Rotation, ano ba? Ay, ano,
baka,
rotate.
baka,
Yun. What?
Rotate two.
baka rotate yan.
Rotation. Okay. Why? Sabi ng vowel eh. Okay, makukulit ng ano.
Vowel po.
Rotation. Kasi rotate, di ba? Rotate. Bakit nga ba letter I? Okay. Rotation.
No!
Sorry, kailangan natin itama. So, the two ingredients of rotation are a center and an angle. So let's call it alpha. So let's say the center, a center which is a point, okay. A center which is a point, let's call it O, and then an angle, let's call it alpha. Okay, so what it does is, okay, so if this is O, and then if we have some other point P on the plane, okay, P, so what we do is, we imagine a circle whose center is O, and then along that circle, we move that particular ray OP along an angle of alpha. Okay. So that's alpha. And then where we find ourselves in, so that would be the image of the rotation. So let us call this P prime. So of course, our one observation is that the distance of a point from the center O is the same as the distance of the image P prime from the center O. So P prime OP is alpha, and furthermore, P prime O is the same as PO. So that is what characterizes a rotation. So let's say we have a segment, and then we use that, and then segment, i-rotate natin with respect to this center. So let's draw this. Okay, O, then we have A, B. Wait, gawin natin, color code natin. Okay, although I know you know what the rotation is, but allow me to, okay, have fun here. A, and use different colors. Okay, and then green. Okay, so let's call this B. So I suppose what we gotta do is draw a circle. Parang, okay.
Least impossible one note geometry.
Oh wait, hold on. Okay. It looks like a circle already, and then okay, but
It looks like it's off center.
it looks like what? Ayan. Another circle. That's
What?
concept.
That is cheating. You must draw everything.
Okay.
Bro, instead of drawing a green circle that is slightly bigger. decides to literally use the same circle, change the color and expand it.
Dapat ano pa rin, concentric.
It looks like O is the barycenter. It's like the sun that's been slightly deflected.
Okay, malapit na. Okay.
Now it looks like what a tire that the
You know
center
what?
is bent.
Okay, ganito.
Yung
Nung
upos
B na lang ang i-move ko.
the pinnacle of laziness.
Right, I know, right? Oh, I should have started with the circles. All right, and let's say we're looking at a particular angle. So let's say the angle is alpha. So let's say this is angle. So say that's angle alpha. Okay, and then so here on the green circle. Okay, so this would then be angle alpha. So the new images are going to be so this is A prime, and then this is going to be B prime, and so these are what we get. So the segment AB is moved to this segment, A prime, B prime. So the image of a segment is, of course, still going to be a segment. In fact, a rotation is not going to change the shape. So if you move a triangle, the image is still going to be a triangle. If you move a blob, the image is going to be the same blob. When we have a rotation, what is the only fixed point? The only point that doesn't move. The only point on the plane that doesn't move.
The center.
So it's going to be the center, right? So it's only the center that is not going to move. Now, so if we, okay, one implication about a rotation is that if you have a line and then you rotate it, so you get a new line, then of course these two lines, unless they're parallel, they're going to intersect. And it turns out that the angle that those two lines, they're also going to form an angle the same as the angle of rotation. So for example,
Prove
ganito.
it.
Yeah, okay, that is precisely, of course, we're gonna prove it. That's precisely what we're gonna.
Ano po, statement said, what maybe hypothetically it looks like this is going to happen, and in fact it does happen.
Oh, yeah, that's what's going
2
on
minutes
here.
later, prove
Okay,
it.
prove it. Okay, so ito. We have O here, and then
It seems
oh,
like
ito, sige. I'm not gonna use the shapes. I'm gonna draw ito.
rather suspicious. It appears that B prime, A prime, and A are collinear.
Oh yeah, I realized that. But I didn't mean for that to happen. But of course, it doesn't have to be that way. If we were to
No, it's
like
not a problem.
enlarge alpha, okay, diba? So let's say this is L, and then we perform a rotation of angle alpha. We could use as reference point the orthogonal projection. So P, and then so we have a 90-degree angle there.
That is the term for the line, the shortest path between a point and a line.
The orthogonal projection refers to P. So that's like the shadow, the closest point,
Yung line,
the orthogonal projection of O.
yung line po, the OP.
OP, the segment, I don't know. Oh, I would say that's the length of OP is the distance of O from line L. OP, paano ba? I can't think of parang it becomes clumsy din eh, how to describe segment OP. Maybe it's not really a term, but just a description. OP is the shortest segment from O to any point on the line. Okay, no, that's the best I can think of. But as far as the term is concerned, nothing comes to mind.
Abo.
All right. Anyway, so suppose this is the image of P. So let's call it P prime. So that means this angle, that's the angle of rotation alpha. Now let's look at the image. Okay, so of course the image would be a line, and this line would be okay. And for this line, the orthogonal projection of O must naturally be P plus, which is the image of P with respect to the rotation. But now if you look at the quadrilateral that's formed here, Q, the point of intersection, P, the orthogonal projection of O on L, and P prime, the orthogonal projection of O on L prime. So if you look at that quadrilateral, so observe that you have two opposite 90-degree angles. So that means this is a cyclic quadrilateral. And so that means the angle there internally at Q here, that will be the supplement of alpha. So that would mean this angle must be alpha. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Okay, the angle between L and L prime is also alpha. The first time that I encountered this particular statement, that always got me confused because whenever you would draw two lines and they intersect, there are in fact two angles that you can consider. These two angles, okay, they're the same, but then you have these other pair of angles. So when you talk about two lines and the angle between them, which are we referring to? Okay, so I guess it could be both of them. In the context of this theorem, depende na lang kasi um, how you're doing the rotation. So in this case, the rotation is from L going to L prime. So the way I think about it is, kunwari, if I look at this particular point of intersection, all right, so parang ang nangyayari, kasi as you can see here, nung P, it moved to the left, at least in this particular way that I drew this. So therefore, itong line L, okay, parang the way I'm thinking about this is, ang movement natin is counterclockwise in this particular illustration. So therefore, I'm thinking of the angle to be this angle. At any rate, if the rotation angle is alpha, then that means when you look at the two lines and they intersect, there will be two angles. One of those two angles would have to be alpha. All right. So the angle between L and L prime is also alpha. All right. I suppose it's time now to look at some interesting problems involving rotations. Okay, kasi when you do a rotation, that preserves lengths. It also preserves the angles inside polygons. Eh, kasi nga naman,
So basically, it preserves the shape but then just changes its orientation.
yeah, parang nag-change lang ng orientation. Pero halimbawa, if you have two parallel lines and then you perform a rotation, the images are still going to be parallel lines. Okay, example. Okay. Inside an equilateral triangle ABC, there is a point P such that PC equals 3, PA equals 4, and PB equals 5. Find the length of a side of triangle ABC. Okay, So, kasi the thing about this triangle is that it can't be too small. Okay? Kasi if it's too small, baka naman, halimbawa, 1, 1, 1 lang yan. Imposible naman na, in this case, magkahanap ka ng point inside such that PA is equal to 4. Right? So that would be impossible. And I suppose it can't be very, very large. Okay? Kasi kung kunwari, say, PA is, okay, PC is
But then ako,
3.
when the shortest distance from P to one of the sides exceeds 5, it's no longer possible.
So may mga ganon. So parang we're looking at,
When from P to the when the distance from P to the vertices is less than 3, it's impossible either.
oh yeah, tama, tama. When, ano ulit yun? What's your condition? When the distance of,
When the distance from the point to a vertex is less than 3, it's no longer possible.
when a vertex of P from a vertex is less than 3,
Less than 3.
impossible.
Less than ano yung sinabi?
Hindi. Eddie, how about, ano, maybe you're looking at the wrong point. Maybe it should be another point on that particular triangle. Alright, di ba? So kasi if P is too close,
If
less than 3,
the distance from P to, from all of the vertices is less than 3, that's impossible. For sure.
not for the triangle. Not for the triangle. Maybe you're just, okay. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. Hindi lang ako makahanap ng counter example. But at any rate, what we see here is that the size of the triangle has to be just right. Okay, so this is a problem where the first time you look at it, makes you wonder, okay, how are we gonna figure that out? So, magana tayo magdoodle lang tayo for now. Let's try to explore this. So let's say this is A, B, and C, and then so ito, let's say that's P, so it's somewhere there. So this is
Maybe we should draw the lines to the
mali.
first po. Before
Although, hold on. Malinong distance ka. So, wait.
Kaya nga po, draw the distances po muna before the triangle.
Right. And then, as you draw the distances, pero kasi din, baka mamaya hindi magmukhang equilateral ng triangle eh. Di ba? Magmukhang scaling triangle. Anyway, piece.
Ano pa na po, use a specific tool po that starts with the letter G.
Use a specific tool that starts with what letter?
The letter G po.
GeoGebra. Okay. Sige, maybe we could. Ito. Mamaya drawing natin. Sige, we could try with GeoGebra. Pero ito kasi 3, 4, 5, and then this is X, this is X, this is X. Pero kasi, wow, how do we even begin to figure out X? One might think na to consider, let this be alpha, beta, gamma. Kasi all we know about alpha, beta, gamma is that they should add up to 360 degrees. And then maybe you could set up 3 equations using the law of cosines. For example, ito, x squared equals 9 plus 25, diba? Minus twice 3 times 5 cosine alpha. Tapos same thing with x squared involving cosine beta, x squared involving cosine gamma, and then alpha plus beta plus gamma equals 360 degrees. But wow, this is really going to be ugly. This is going to be ugly. So kasi when you try to incorporate this on these expressions, that's going to be a real mess. But ganito, what do we observe about 3, 4, 5?
Pythagorean triple?
Yeah. Okay.
It was not a coincidence.
So did they form a Pythagorean triple? So if we could take those segments, 3, 4, 5, and then
I was going to ask po, just jokingly po, if maybe there was a there's a hidden right triangle because of the 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
Maybe
if we could like take those segments and connect them, for sure we would form a right triangle.
but how?
Diba? But how? All right, of course, if we keep the segments and the points where they are, then we don't see a right triangle. So for us to be able to form a right triangle, maybe we have to do a transformation. So now it's the question of,
Transformers.
okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna employ a rotation. We're gonna do a rotation. So we're gonna remove these angles because we're not really gonna use them.
Le rotation.
La rotación.
Wow. Dun, dun, dun.
So what we are going to do is we could choose any of the three vertices, any of the three. Let's say C, and then let's do a rotation, center C, 60 degrees. Okay. So let me write it here. Rotate. Okay. The figure. Okay. At a 60-degree angle, and then let's do it counterclockwise. Okay. And then for the rotation, let the center be C. So this is going to be the center of rotation. So question, what would be the image of, well, C, because C is the center, it's going to be fixed. But what about A, for example? What would be the image of A?
From
If we do this rotation?
60 degrees counterclockwise.
Mhm.
It is hard to imagine.
I don't know kung naloloko ka or ano, seriously hard to imagine for you.
Wait lang po. Okay, so there are parang flip. Wait lang po. I cannot visualize it at this moment.
Ganito. Alright. So, meron tayong ano, parang imagine mo, meron tayong bilog. Okay. Ito ng center.
This is
So, kung meron tayong point P, tapos i-move natin, sunod image would be Q. So, itong angle na to, 60 degrees. Now, because we're forgetting something, ABC is equilateral. So that means this angle is,
A will coincide with B. Yay.
all right, that angle is 60 degrees. So when we do the rotation, because of the fact that CA is equal to CB, and then that angle ACB is 60 degrees, then that means the image of A is going to be B. All right, so that is going to be something significant. So nung A, mapupunta sa B. And then B, on the other hand, would go somewhere else. Let's say, tawagin natin D. Let B, well, it's not yet drawn. Let's call it B plus. And then, well, C is going to be fixed, but there's another point. P, let's call the image P plus. Ultimately, what this will do is it's gonna bring this triangle
Plus 4
to a
prime.
different equilateral triangle.
Plus 4 prime. Ano po, P prime ba?
Yeah, P is gonna be set to P prime, but do you see that this is B prime?
Okay. So it forms a parallelogram.
Oo. So ito, kasi 60 degrees din yan dapat.
Oh,
So
it will really form a parallelogram po, the
right.
CP, and
So
then
for sure, kasi you have 120 degrees up there at C. And then down at A, we have 60 degrees. Okay. Pero nung P prime, wait, let me remove this X so that I could use the space much more. Uh, ah, the eraser. Okay.
one note eraser doing its job as an eraser po. Not doing it.
Not erasing. Okay. So what's gonna happen is P prime is going to be brought here. Okay, this is where P prime is gonna be. Okay, but the implication is that if you compare CP with CP prime, okay, that must mean CP prime is what happens when you rotate CP by 60 degrees, right?
Abo.
So what is the implication of that fact? So considering that CP has 3 units and CP prime, well, it should also be as long. It should also be CP prime should also be 3 units, diba? So to look at the figure, CP is 3 units. CP prime is 3 units. And then that angle there, PCP prime is 60 degrees. Just the fact that you have,
No. I already see I already see it. I see it.
oh, sige, tell me what you see.
What I see, 3354 will be the length. So that is a quadrilateral, which you can take the diagonals of.
All right, so now I want you to articulate those.
The problem po is I don't know how to take the diagonal.
What diagonal? Are you talking about AB prime?
CB po.
Sorry, what?
CB.
CB. Okay, so CB is a diagonal of the parallelogram. But how does that help in
Of ano po, it is also a diagonal of CPBP prime.
CPBP prime? Okay, yes, it's a diagonal of CPB prime. But CPBP prime is not necessarily well, actually, I don't think it's a parallelogram.
Di po. Yung ano po,
Oh,
it's not a parallelogram. It's obviously not kasi yung lens po.
oh,
But 60 degrees kasi 3. So, yung sabihin CPP prime is an equilateral triangle.
yes, that's it.
So
So that means,
CP prime is 3. So, we can
oh,
get the diagonal somehow. Maybe Ptolemy's theorem if we can prove it's cyclic or something.
okay. However, Joshua, what is the length of P prime B?
P prime B. 4.
4.
No. I saw it. It's the right triangle thing.
Ayun, okay. Kasi PA and P prime B should have the same. Kasi so P is sent to P prime, A is sent to B, so therefore PA is the same as P prime A. So ito, PA is the same as P prime B. Okay, so that means P prime B is also 4. So ibig sabihin, if you look at, kita mo na, if you look at this triangle, 3, 5, 4. So you must have a right angle there. Okay, so that is definitely something. You know what? Let me write this down. Okay. So angle PCP prime equals 60 degrees. Since CP equals CP prime, and they are in fact both equal to 3, then triangle CPP prime is equilateral, and P prime equals 3. And then since P prime B equals PA, which is 4, then triangle P prime B is a right triangle. Okay, that's because P prime equals 3, P prime B equals 4, and then PB equals 5. So right triangle with angle P prime B as the right angle equal to 90 degrees. Now, our goal is to find the length of side we want to find the length of side of the equilateral triangle. And you're right. What we got to do here is figure out the length of BC. Now, you were looking earlier at BC as a diagonal of that quadrilateral you pointed out. But, well, you don't have to think of it as a diagonal of a quadrilateral. Do you see a triangle having BC as a side whose two other legs we know?
3, 4.
3, 4. And in fact, do we know the angle at the included angle? C,
60 plus
B.
90.
Yeah, 60. You see that now? So P prime and then B. So let's say you have here this angle. This must be 60 degrees. So that means here we have 150 degrees. And this is 3, and this is 4. We should be able to finally use the law of cosines. Wait, we were using x. So eventually, law of cosines then, but on a specific triangle.
Then
So x squared, okay, 9, yes, all right, not so messy. 9 plus 16 minus 2 times 3 times 4 times the cosine of 150 degrees. So yeah, Joshua, what's the cosine of 150 degrees?
I do not know.
Start positive or negative?
So, cosine 150 is cosine 180 minus 30. What is cosine 30? Wait.
Yeah, cosine 30, you're right. That's what we got to look at.
1 over square root of 3 over 3. So 180 minus 80. Square root of 3 over 3.
Not square root of 3 over 3.
Oh wait, no, the 180 minus that one is negative square root of 3 over 3.
It's negative, but not square root of 3 over 3.
Oh wait, so wait, no. Wait, 1, 2. No. It's square root of 3 over 2.
Yes.
Negative square root of 3 over 2.
Square root of 3 over 2. 25 minus plus, nabale. Okay, the 2's cancel. 3 times 4, 12, square root of 3. This is then x squared. Therefore, x is equal to the square root of 25 plus 12 square root of 3. This is how long each side of the equilateral triangle should be. All right. Okay, I thought that was, well, ayun, I kind of like it. So ito mga simple enough rotations.
Sinabi nga po, sinabi mo? Ano naman quote mo? Simple pero, rock. Simple daw.
Yeah, di ba? All right. Ito na mga kinds of problems where, to be honest, the first time I saw it, I don't believe I would have figured it out. Kasi when you're starting out with these problems, you wouldn't know right away whether it's a rotation that you have to use. And then if you happen to chance upon the idea that you should use a rotation, isipin mo pa, with respect to what angle and at what center. So in this case, because we have an equilateral triangle, and well, as far as equilateral triangles are concerned, 60 degrees is the primary angle in the story here. So maybe it's a rotation with respect to 60 degrees. And then, well, if you do a 60-degree rotation, actually, with me choosing C as the center, that was a bit arbitrary. You could try to figure out what if we use A as the center or B
Well,
as the center.
it
In the end, ganun din. So,
equilateral.
para equilateral kasi, so we could have used A or B as the center.
Okay.
So, thus, in the end, we would have arrived at the same idea. Okay, so any of these would have worked as a center. Okay.
Pero kailangan po C kasi it is the top vertex. Always use the top vertex or else
Oy,
become
kasi yun nung... But you know what? In the drawing that I made, pwede rin gamitin, I could have also used a rotation centered at B. And then in this case, A will have C as its image. A will go to C. So pa clockwise this time. So pwede din yun. All right. Ito try natin. Next example.
Example keyword.
Example. Okay. A, B, C, D is a unit square. Okay. Points P, Q, M, N are selected on sides AB, BC, CD, and DA respectively, okay, such that AP plus AN plus CQ plus CM equals 2.
What?
All right, show that PM and QN are perpendicular. Okay, so drawing muna natin ang ng A, B, C, D just to get an idea of what's happening. Okay, so A, B, C, D. So the sides A, B, B, C, C, D, D, A, we're going counterclockwise. And then P is here, Q is here, M is here, and N is there. But with that particular condition, that AP plus, so ito yun, AP plus AN, and then plus CQ plus CM, the sum should be equal to 2. Okay. If we choose those 4 points to be the midpoints, then the claim is true. Because if those 4 other letters are the midpoints, then that would make PN vertical, and QN would be vertical. So obviously you're gonna get a 90-degree angle there. But apparently, even if they're not the midpoints, but just as long as that sum is equal to 2, then all right, PM would still be perpendicular to QN.
Property.
Okay. Now, yikes. Okay. Siguro, kasi if we're gonna do it this way, let's say,
maybe there could be a you could make a GeoGebra graph out of it.
Pwede, okay. Actually, sige, gusto mo i-GeoGebra? I haven't tried it out.
Kasi pwede na po diba yung gonna say make the intersection of Q and an MP. Make the M and of M, Q, P and N principal points po so you can move them.
Sir, what's that? We can make them what?
We can make P, Q, M, and N principal points. Yung nilalagay po talaga yung points. So you can move the points. Hindi po sila dependent points.
And then, wait, what are you suggesting? That we try to do it on GeoGebra and then P is a moving point on AB or a fixed point?
Lahat po. P, Q, M, and N are all moving points.
Sige, if you want to do it, we can try that.
Kasi parang, di ba po pag M and MQ would be, Q is closer to C, and then N is closer to A. But then M and P stay at the midpoints. Obviously, that is not true.
Okay. Kasi try natin the unit length.
Hindi po naka-share yung ano?
Yeah, naka-share na ito. Lagyan natin. Yeah, all right. And then let's remove the grid. So in my drawing, the origin is point A, and then B is at 1, 0, and then C is the point 1, 1, and then D is the point 0, 1. So we have our square. Okay, I think I can now remove the axis. Okay. So kita naman natin dito. Well, the fact that these 4 segments all have length equal to 1, and then let's choose a point here. Let this be point P. Okay, and then here this is going to be point N, renamed N, and then here is point Q. Now the distances, okay, so distance from A to P equals, actually that would just be the x coordinate of point P. Yeah, x of P. And so 0.28. And then the distance from A to N, that will be the y coordinate of point N. So y of N, that's the GeoGebra command. All right, so ito, if we move it, ayan, kita mo nung y coordinate of N. Okay, and then nung Q naman, distance from C to Q would be 1 minus the y coordinate of Q. And then lastly, wait, that should be Q. And then here, point M. So name this to point M. And then distance from C to M would be 1 minus the x coordinate of point M. Okay, and then the sum of the 4 distances, let's call it D. The AP plus the AN plus the CQ plus the CM. 1.79, and then so that's not equal to 2, and as we can see here, we can measure the angle.
Perpendicular.
They're not perpendicular. We can mark out the angle like so. So 78.42 degrees. Let's remove the labels for J and K. But let's say nung M, i-move natin. So the distance D is 1.79. If you make it 2, well, okay, 90.2 degrees, but, well, it's approximation. Okay, kasi maybe that's not yet, if you want to make
You
things
can
a bit,
make you can equate into
uh,
make that 90 exactly.
rounding, say 5 decimal places. And the distance is 2.0036. Actually, ganito, I can choose pwede natin anyway, I suppose this is a good enough illustration. All right. If the distance is close to 2, then you can see that the angle there is close to 90 degrees. Well, it should theoretically be 90 degrees.
You can make that angle perpendicular.
Well, ayun. Well, kasi given the 3 distances, just subtract from 2, and then you can determine what the last distance should be. So, halimbawa, ito. Needed distance D sub 0 is 2 minus D sub 80 minus D sub AN minus D sub CQ. So, oh wait, hold on. What happened there? Object properties. D sub 0. Oh, all right. I forgot the. All right. So currently, ito na lang nung kulang, nung D sub 0.7197. So we could choose a new point there on top. So y coordinate niya 1. And then from C to this new point M prime, nung D sub 0 dapat ang 1 minus D sub 0. Yan. And then in this case, if we draw this segment, tapos this is the point of intersection, then the angle there should always be, hold on. Oh, hold on. Q, okay.
Maybe you can start po from F muna.
Ito. Hold on. Pwede from F, no? Pero it's a slash. Ayan, 90 degrees.
Now delete
So,
it.
kung gagalaw nung, so that's where point F should be. And F is
Algebra genius po.
and F is chosen so that the sum of the 4 distances is equal to 2. All right, so yan 90 degrees. So I suppose it's possible to prove this using analytic geometry. Pwede ka mag-set up ng X and Y axis. Tapos, so you know the coordinates of B, C, and D. Tapos yun nga lang, it's just gonna be rather tedious. Because you're gonna come up with symbols. Let M be the distance from A to P, and then N the distance from A to N. So sa mga ganon. And then if the sum is, then you can determine the coordinates of P, Q, F, N. And then to show that they have a 90-degree angle, you just need to find the slope of NQ and the slope of PF. The slope should be negative reciprocals of each other. Of course, I haven't done it. All right. I suppose it's doable using that kind of algebraic approach. But, of course, that's not how we're going to do it. Okay.
Geometry.
We're going to use the fact that AP plus AN plus CQ plus CM is equal to the number 2. Right now, kasi nung AP, AN, CQ, CM, they're far apart from each other. Magkakalayo sila. But maybe if there's a way that we can bring them together. Okay, what we would like to do is to bring them together. So mag-drawing tayo ng isang configuration where we do have, wait, let me move it here. Okay, yan. Nasa gitna tayo. Okay. Then let's draw a configuration where PM and QN will look perpendicular. So say this is P and then M, and then let's say this is N and Q. Huwag lang natin lagyan ng angle. All right. So suppose that AP plus AN plus CQ plus CM equals 2. And then how do we argue that PM and QN are perpendicular? Now, we're giving this as an example on the topic of rotations. So, okay. So I'm telling you, we're going to do a rotation. Now, Joshua, what rotation angle do you think will be most suitable here?
Rotate the rotate no. Wait. I don't know. Rotate every point until wait. No, that's not true.
Yeah, okay. So actually it's the whole figure we're going to rotate. At what angle kaya would be a good rotation?
What angle?
Oh, what angle? 37-degree angle? Anong angle kaya?
Maybe a rotation by the imaginary unit.
Okay. Sige, imaginary unit. Anyway, think of a rotation angle. What would be, I suppose, obvious here?
90 degrees?
90 degrees, yes. 90 degrees. Kasi
So it will form like a tessellation, sort of.
tessellation ba nung mangyayari dito?
Parang tiling po.
Oh, yeah. Well, kasi may dissection tayo into, pero, well, we're not moving the pieces. We're moving the figure whole piece. So, okay, we're gonna do a 90-degree rotation through what center?
Through what center? Any vertex?
Any of the 4 vertices. So, sige, let's do A, and then let's do it. So wait, I'm gonna write on the right side. So let's do the rotation here on the left side. Okay. Rotate. Okay. With center A by 90 degrees clockwise. Okay. So what's gonna happen is that all right, nung D will go, so A of course is going to be fixed. So nung D, let its image be D prime. So here is where that's gonna go. So this is where we're gonna find
So it will
D prime.
it won't form ano ba? It won't form a tiling.
Okay. Tapos nung C prime will go here. Okay. So D will go to D prime.
So like
C,
it's like you rolled over the box mo na
right, precisely. We rolled over the box. How about B? Where would B go?
B, it will roll over to D.
D, right. And then the other images, let's call them M prime, N prime, P prime, Q prime. Okay, so let's see. Here is where we're going to find. Okay. So kasi nung Q is close to B and B goes to D. So dapat nung Q prime malapit sa D. So this is Q prime And then, nung AD, babagsak doon sa AD prime, and n is close to D. So here is where we're gonna find n prime. Okay, and then nung M is gonna be somewhere here. So this is M prime, and then P prime will be somewhere here. Okay. So well, the condition involves those lengths AP, AN, CQ, and CM. So we gotta trace saan na napunta ng mga segments na yon. So if you look at wait, CQ, this is where so this is the image, C prime, Q prime. And then as for CM, so ito na siya ngayon. And then I hope I don't run out of colors here. Okay.
Yung po use yung space color.
Okay. Okay. Wait, hold on.
Space.
AP and then AN. Okay. AN. Let's use silver, gray. This is AN, and this is AN prime. Okay. So basically, when you take a yellow, green, light green, and gray, the length is always going to be.
Yung problema na po dito, I'm rather colorblind.
Are you colorblind?
Partially.
Partially? Okay. All right. So dami-dami kong color coding na ginagamit. All right. Or at least I should choose more distinctive colors.
Nakikita ko na po yung difference.
Okay. All right. Sige nito. So I'll give you a hint na lang. Okay?
Mas maganda po na gamitin sa kanya yung darker po na colors.
Darker, no? Alright, not ng mga yellow.
Kasi baka yung dark blue po tsaka dark purple minsan na ano ko rin.
Okay. Sige. What's the significance of the number 2 kaya? Kasi why is it not 3? Why does it have to be 2?
Because it is twice it's half the perimeter, semi-perimeter.
All right, it's half the perimeter. Also, when you look at the figure that we have here, we get a rectangle. All right. Tapos the vertical dimension of the rectangle is 1.
So it is DAB, D prime AB, or C prime DC.
C prime DC, yes. So that the horizontal side is 2 units. But then if you take segments of the 4 colors, altogether, they should add up to 2 units, right?
Opo, I already see it, I think.
Sige. What do you see?
So, yung M prime C, which is MC, tsaka yung goal po natin I think is to maybe if we can malipat po natin lahat as yung CQ to C prime DC, and then MC nandun na po siya sa C prime DC. Yung AB, kung somehow malipat po natin dun, which I have a strong feeling that is actually Q prime D, tsaka P prime.
Pero ang hirap nun kasi we cannot really require nung AP prime and Q prime D to be the same. Kasi parang ganito, no? Kunwari nung meron tayong 2 segments there at the corner C and 2 segments at the corner A. The 2 segments at the corner A, pwede nating i-adjust so that their total sum doesn't change. So that means AP will not be Q prime D. However, you're onto something. Okay? AP itong AP, okay, granted, it's not gonna be Q prime D, pwedeng less.
But then NA will be NA will be that's if we can prove that Q prime DM Q prime D M is the same has the same measure as N I mean no Q prime D plus DM has the same measure as AP plus AN.
Actually, can we prove that?
I think so.
Yes.
Uh
Ganito.
oh wait, I think I see it. DM and then Q prime D is actually QB. DM.
Pero ganito, all right? So we know that C prime C equals 2. Okay? But then itong C prime C, this is C prime Q prime plus Q prime M. I'm gonna put that together. I'm not gonna divide uh, into Q prime D plus DM, but rather Q prime M plus MC for now. But then kasi C prime Q prime, that's green, that's CQ. And then, okay, so far we have Q prime M. And then MC, that's yellow. That's CM. But from what's been given, 2 is equal to AP plus AN plus CQ plus CM. From these two equations, what do we conclude?
What do we conclude? They are the same.
It means that Q, of course, this,
M is equal to AP plus AN.
ano yan, Q prime,
Given pala yan.
oh, given. So Q prime M equals,
Is equal to AP plus AN. What is AP? Wait. AP plus AN is equal to nothing. AP plus AN lang po talaga. Wait.
but then
AN is
AN is equal to,
N prime P.
all
Oh,
right, so yun ang lalabas, all right?
so if they're the same and they are parallel,
Okay,
that
which means,
which means Q prime MP is not a coincidence. It's actually indeed a parallelogram.
yes. All right, wait, susunod natin na. And then AB plus AN, but then AN is AN prime, but then AP plus AN prime, that's N prime P. So, asa na ngayon yon? So, we've shown that this Q prime M and N prime P are congruent. So, congruent ito. Q prime M and N prime P, which means, yes, you're right, we do have a parallelogram. Okay, Q prime M P N prime is a
Parallelogram.
parallelogram. Okay. Then what? So how do we show that okay, NQ and MP, how do we justify the 90-degree angle there in that question mark? Hint, we did a rotation of 90 degrees.
Oh,
What's the image? Okay, can you try to see if you can fill in the details?
okay. Uh, so, wait lang. If MP rotated 90 degrees is parallel to itself, Okay, wait. Okay, wait. So, basta, wait. If MP is rotated 90 degree, wait. 90, wait. If we, MP is M prime P prime. And MP is parallel to Q prime N prime. So, it means Q prime N prime is parallel to M prime P prime. Oh, wait. So, maybe we could use this, no letter.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yun na pala po siya. Okay. So, yung M prime, P prime po, maybe we could prove that it is congruent to NQ.
Actually, yes. P prime. Same. Wait. MP prime. Is it gonna be congruent to NQ? Yes, kasi I think ang mangyayari, you also have a parallelogram there.
Opo. So, basta po, once that is done, it means that NQ is, wait. NQ is parallel to M prime, P prime, which is actually MP. So, therefore, since NQ has been rotated, since MP has been rotated, by 90, okay, so I will try to refine this. MP
Yeah,
has
okay.
been rotated 90 degrees to form M prime, P prime. M prime, P prime turns out to be parallel to NQ. So therefore, NQ and MP are perpendicular.
Okay. Pero kasi, ba't pa natin, how about ito, you're looking at rotating MP. How about from the figure? Kasi, why don't you imagine the rotation of NQ instead?
Oh, okay. So,
Andun na kasi NQ and N prime Q prime.
so MP. Oh, wait. Okay. So, NQ has been rotated and then by 90 degrees.
Mhm.
And then it turns out to be parallel with MP.
Mm.
So therefore, the 90 degrees the 90 degrees rotation of NQ is parallel to MP. So that means NQ is perpendicular to MP.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. All right. Sige, sulat natin ah. Okay. Okay. N prime Q prime is the image of NQ, then N prime Q prime and NQ are perpendicular. Now, of course, N prime Q prime and NQ are segments. So when we think of them as perpendicular, it means really that we are looking at the lines containing them. Okay, so that's what we mean when we talk about two angles being perpendicular. Sorry, two segments being perpendicular or two segments having an angle of 60 degrees between them. You're looking at the angle formed when you do the extension if necessary. So you extend them to a line. All right, so all right, NP prime and N prime Q prime and NQ are perpendicular. However, because of the parallelogram that we formed, however, okay, N prime Q prime and MP are parallel. Therefore, it follows from those two geometric statements, the parallel statement and the perpendicular statement, the conclusion follows right away that MP and NQ are perpendicular. Jaron! Okay.
Wow, so shocking.
Ito ang tagal nang nakasulat ng problem na to last week pa. So, sayang naman kung na-type ko na nga eh. Okay.
Must solve or else.
Must solve. Okay. Triangle 8. Okay.
Na-toxic lang po kasi
Bakit?
naghabol ng experiment si Joshua kaya
Hindi, I mean, hindi, I wasn't expecting this to be solved, but I mean, na-prepare ko na siya last time pa. This uses a rotation, and it's only today that I started talking about rotation. So when I mentioned it, it's not to suggest that this should have been attempted, but rather, tinype ko na to, so baka malimutan ko. Not that I would, but anyway, Ito, so ABC is an isosceles right triangle. Asa ng right angle? Well, the second statement says points M and N are chosen from the hypotenuse BC. So that means we have the 90-degree angle at A. So here is B and C. And then M and N are chosen from the hypotenuse, but M is between B and N. So tama, M is closer to B and N is closer to C. Suppose that we have this particular relationship between the lengths. BM squared plus CN squared equals MN squared. Show that angle MAN is 45 degrees.
Matt. Okay, so it is totally a coincidence that somehow it forms it follows the Pythagorean theorem. So
Oh,
what a
so
coincidence.
that means we're gonna have to look for a right triangle here somewhere. Then BM squared plus CN squared equals MN squared. Yeah. So mukhang okay. We should not, of course, assume that BM and CN are the same. So I wonder if I could redraw this so that that's not suggested. So say so BM, let's say it's slightly larger than CN. Yan. Okie dokie.
Rotate something by doing
Rotate.
something, and then rotate another thing by doing another thing.
Oh.
I think I already found it, just like that.
What?
I think I already solved it, or something, whatever.
Sige, sige.
CN, if you rotate it clockwise until C reaches B,
Mhm.
and then rotate
So what's the center of rotation?
A.
A.
Because
Okay.
it seems like A is the only non-important point.
Not important, so okay,
It's
so
the most worthless of of all
okay.
of the
So
points.
ito, so 45 degrees din to, 45 degrees din to. So this is gonna be
90
B
degrees.
prime. Okay, so C goes to B, and then B goes to B prime.
N, since N po will wait, how do we prove that?
Wait,
Wait,
and then
N will be on B prime. So therefore, C prime BM is a right triangle. So it is the only thing left to prove now is that
wait, which one? Sorry, where are we now?
the C prime BM is
Wait,
now
C prime. Wait,
N,
what's C prime?
N prime pa pala po. N prime BM and BM. Okay. N prime BM is a right triangle. So what's left to prove only is that MN is exactly MN prime.
Ah, okay.
So therefore, similar. So because there is already an M prime N prime there, the only thing left to prove now is that M prime N prime is congruent to N prime M. So maybe you could prove that the triangle or something.
Wait, hold on. Pa-isa-isa, so susulat lang natin. Rotate. Okay. Rotate. Okay. With center A. Okay. Angle of 90 degrees counterclockwise. All right, so from the figure, B goes to B prime, and then C goes to B. So, and then M goes to M prime, and then N goes to N prime. Tapos, so you were comparing, ano yan, what did you say we had to show? Mn equals Mn prime? Is
Maybe
that,
M prime and prime or whatever. Which one po? Maybe
well, kasi Mn prime, we definitely have a right triangle there, di ba?
Opo.
Ito, hold on. Okay. Triangle BMN prime is a right triangle. So clearly, MN prime squared is equal to BN prime squared plus BM squared, right? But because of the rotation, Bn prime is the same as Bn prime is the same as,
NC.
yeah, all right, NC or Cn. So this is Cn squared plus Bm squared. But from the given, this is precisely what the given involves. Bm squared plus Cn squared equals Mn squared. So therefore, no, Mn prime must be the same as Mn. So Mn prime and Mn must be the same.
Opo.
All right then.
That's it. Since Mn is basically Mn prime, and then they form a right triangle, blah blah blah. So they just prove by equality. Oh wait, okay. Suppose that. Oh, okay. Prove that man is equal to 45 degrees.
Sige, tignan mo ng figure. Man is, why would that be 45 degrees?
Why would that be 45
For
degrees?
man, okay, one of its rays, one of its sides is AN. What's the image of AN?
AM prime.
AN prime. So what's the relationship between AN and AN prime?
AN and AN prime. Oh wait, it looks like maybe it's a rotation. Maybe.
It looks like it's a rotation.
It looks
Is it
like
hypothetical?
it looks like MAN. Oh wait, it is.
It
MAN
is.
rotated.
N prime is the image of N.
Oh, okay. So it turns out somehow MAN has been rotated through with center A, and then somehow MN prime, the distance between the MN and prime, is also the same as MN itself. Okay. So
All right, so okay, first off, AN has image AN prime. Kasi N has image N prime eh.
Opo.
But then the rotation is 90 degrees.
Oh, okay. So maybe we could write down po.
Okay, so first off, ito equals sila, di ba? Kasi AN prime is the image of AN.
Opo.
But then if you look at that quadrilateral with the red sides and the blue sides, hold on. Itong blue sides are equal, so let's use a different mark for that. What can we say about that quadrilateral? A, N, M, N prime. It's not a parallelogram. What kind of special quadrilateral is it?
A kite.
It's a kite.
Or more like a bat or something.
Okay.
A
Okay, so it's a
small
kite.
kite.
Okay. And actually, ganito na lang, ganito lang. So you have the kite divided into two congruent triangles, di ba?
Oh.
Tapos it bisected by MA.
Bisected by it. Yes.
Pero what is this angle?
That's 90 degrees. Oh, okay. So it's bisected. Oh, yes, fine.
So
90 degrees has been bisected. So therefore, MAN is equal to 44 degrees.
there, Gerard.
To the
Okay,
power.
kita gets. Alright. Okay. Jaran. Okay. So it's just
The answer has revealed itself.
the answer is revealed itself. Parang hanapin mo ano nung mga magkakapareho tapos 45 degrees. So yeah. Well, I suppose it's because MAN, so this one, this angle, part siya ng ano nung angle na in purple. So if you want to show that the check mark is 45 degrees, tapos the entire angle is 90 degrees, and that's something that follows the fact that we did a 90-degree rotation, then if the whole is 90 degrees and then you want to show that this is 45 degrees, then you got to show the other one is 45 degrees, or in other words, the angle is bisected. Ayan. So nung blue segments, they are congruent because of the rotation. But the fact that the red segments are congruent, it follows from the particularly given peculiar fact. Ng Bm squared plus Cm squared equals Mn squared. So doon nag-follow why the why the red segments are congruent. All right, time to synthesize. So Mn is the same as Mn prime. Since A n prime is the image of AN, then AN and AN prime are perpendicular. So essentially, there's a 90-degree angle between them. Okay. Also, AN prime equals AN. And then by SSS congruence, triangle AMN is congruent to triangle AMN prime. Why does the congruence follow? It's because they share AM, and then you have the red segments and the blue segments. So, okay, the two triangles are congruent. Therefore, the angle there in purple, they're congruent. Thus, angle NAM equals angle N prime AM. Or in other words, AM bisects angle N prime AN, which is 90 degrees. Finally, because of that bisection by AM, angle MAN equals Jaran 45 degrees. Woo! Okay. So you have a 45 degree angle there. Okay. Wala pa akong ano na assign sa'yo na ano na rotation. Okay, pero tingnan natin how far we can Go.
Me
When
after
we were top, sorry.
me after rotating po in three-dimensional space.
Okay, ang interesting na pag-usapan next, Joshua, would be, what if we perform these operations in succession? So what would be the effect? So, kumare, when you do a rotation followed by another rotation, would the result
Translation
also be
followed by
a
inversion followed by
rotation?
half turn followed by etc. Dapat po may ganun na problem po. Use a half turn. What is a half turn followed by a translation followed by a translation followed by a half turn? Parang ganun po.
Yeah, mga things like that. Mga things like that. Actually, if you have consecutive translations, ano lang yun eh, you can compress them into a single translation, di ba? And as we've talked about, if you have consecutive half turns, ano nang mangyayari? Pero kasi, with half turns, it makes a difference. Well, syempre may center kang dapat i-consider, and also with rotation. So this time, it's a bit more complicated because the angles are not just going to be 180 degrees. It could be all different angles. Okay, so let's write down what would happen. So question. Okay, what do we get by performing two consecutive rotations? Okay, and suppose the rotations are ganito ha. Let me use the following notation. R and then O1 alpha and then R O2 and then beta. So
Around
so
two different centers.
so assume alpha and beta have the same orientation. So either both clockwise or both counterclockwise. Because after all, for example, if you think about a 60-degree clockwise rotation is the same as a particular number of degrees counterclockwise rotation. Diba? If you were to rotate by 60 degrees clockwise, that would be the same as rotating 300 degrees counterclockwise. Diba? So, para mas madali ng usapan, let's assume that alpha and beta have the same orientation. Kasi kung isa clockwise and isa counterclockwise, well, then you can just replace the other by the equivalent opposite orientation rotation. So convert 60 degrees to 300, 120 degrees to 240 degrees in the opposite orientation. It's easy if O1 and O2 are the same. Okay, easy if O1 and O2 are the same. All right, kasi mangyayari, let's say common center, then you have a point A, tapos let's use P. And then you rotate it alpha, so that's P1, and then you rotate beta, okay, and then the image is P2, but then clearly P2O is the same as P1O is the same as PO, and so if you look at P all the way to P2, then because P2O and PO are the same, then you could imagine that this is the effect of a rotation. with angle alpha plus beta. Okay, so the effect is a rotation, okay, with same center at an angle of alpha plus beta. So, madali lang yun eh. Same center. Siyempre, doon tayo sa magtataga dun sa usapan, what if the centers are different? Okay. What if O1 is not equal to O2? Now, instead of looking at the image of a point, I think mas masusundan natin if we look at the image of a segment. Okay, so I'm gonna try to draw this as best as I could. Okay, so here we have center O1. And then here is segment AB. AB. Then suppose we do a rotation with an angle of alpha. Okay. So let this be the line containing AB. When we look at the rotation, the image, the resulting image segment will be in a line. Tapos the second line will form an angle of alpha with this first line. All right, so let's say this is line 1. So it's as if we're also rotating. Well, we're also rotating this line L. Okay. Medyo challenging mag-draw. So let's say this is A. All right. And then this is B. So from O1A to O1A, the angle is alpha. So in my illustration, I'm using a counterclockwise orientation. So for angle beta, I'm also going to think of it as a counterclockwise angle. Okay, so the image line, so ito yon. Wait, let's call these A1, B1. So the subscripts 1 refer to the fact that these are the images with respect to the center O1. Okay. So because the rotation angle is alpha, so that means if you consider the angle between L and L1, the angle between them is alpha. In fact, we see that here. Ito. This should be, so that's alpha. Okay, next, let's say the other center is O2. O2 is, let's say it's somewhere here. Okay. Yikes. O2. Tapos, this is O2A. And then the angle of rotation is beta. Wait, sorry. Okay. Ito nung sa mga pinakamatagal. Alright. Gawin natin medyo obtuse. And, okay. So bear with me. At least it's in OneNote. Kung nasa Blackboard, baka buburahin ko nung
Yeah po.
buong drawing na, di ba? Alright. So ito ng silver lining.
Hindi po,
So,
dapat gawin niyo po sa blackboard. Cut out the blackboard. And then make another blackboard. Generate a chemical reaction to to chemically remove the shock and then put it
okay.
back
Alam
together.
mo, you already had me at cut out the blackboard eh.
And then
So ito,
and then
beta.
and then you po and then you put it in the blackboard again by using quantum effects.
Oh my gosh. Alright.
Very very human friendly po and
Okay.
very human design.
So definitely. So nung B, ang estimate ko sa B2 is gonna be here.
Parang I don't think that is a very wise choice po of distance.
Oo nga eh, check nung angle. Alright. Let's say this is B2. Oh, okay. So L1. All right, I suppose I'd still be able to meet to have L1 and L2 meet. Okay, urong na lang natin ng question. What if O1 and O2 are different?
What? That is a very that is a very that is a, such a that is such the pinnacle of laziness.
Quack, 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 quack. So here's A2, B2. Okay, so that means meron tayong na-form na, na angle and I'm using orange. So ito yon. So this is angle beta. Okay. So you know what? That's an unfortunate angle. Okay, kasi gusto kong i-connect ng ano eh, L with L2. Okay. However, if I do the
Maybe you should have done it for all this time in GeoGebra.
oh yeah, no. All right, let me do beta again. Sorry. Acute.
I will erase everything mo.
All right. Everything. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's make beta acute. Okay, kasi
So it'll be much easier.
oh, let's make it in fact all right, so this is beta. Medyo dalian ko na. Okay, this is A2. And let's say this is B2. Okay, so so this is line 2. Line 2. So between L1 and L2, the angle that we get to form is here we have beta here. Okay, so that's beta there. And then this is angle line 2. Now, what we would like to compare is the original AB with A2B2, and they belong to lines L and L2. What is the angle between L and L2? Okay, so because of the angles beta here and the angle alpha here, then if you look at the rotation from L going to L2, that would be a rotation around some angle, okay?
Which
And
one?
then if you compare red angle with purple and orange angles, this red angle must be alpha plus beta. So yes, even if the centers are different, okay, the result is still a rotation with angle alpha plus beta. Okay, so in pa rin nung result, the result is still going to be a rotation with angle alpha plus beta if alpha plus beta is not a multiple of 360 degrees. All right.
If it is a multiple of 360 degrees, then it's just degenerate.
Well, let's see what would happen if it was a multiple of 360 degrees. Kunwari, ito, let's say this is ito no original line L. Tapos iikutin natin siya 360 degrees. So you'll be going in a complete revolution.
And
That would mean,
it will totally not coincide with L itself.
all right. So that would mean if alpha plus beta equals 360 degrees, mangyari L2 would be the same as L.
Nice.
So ganun ang mangyayari. Well, actually, what would happen is, sige, let's color code. Andito nung A. Okay. Tapos iikot siya. Tapos napunta doon kunwari. Okay. Anyway, sorry, mahirap na mag-drawing. But see what's going to happen. Because of the fact that L and L2 will coincide okay, what would happen is sandali no? Okay. Kasi we have to distinguish between a half turn, a 180-degree turn versus a 360-degree turn. If we do a half turn, 180 degrees, okay, so kunwari, andito nung AB, when we do a half turn, so, ayun, magkakabaliktad ng orientation. But when the angle is 360 degrees, then you do another half turn, what you would get is a translation. Okay. The result is a translation. If the angle is 180 degrees, then it's just a half turn. And then, so therefore, if it's 360 degrees, the result is a translation. And in that case, medyo alam na naman natin ang mangyayari. Now, the question is, okay, if the result is a rotation at an angle of alpha plus beta, where are we going to find the center? So if alpha plus beta is not a multiple of 360 degrees, where then is the center? Okay, since nandito na nung drawing, okay, or hold on.
Centers everywhere, or okay, it can be everywhere.
It can be everywhere. Okay, where then is the center? So ganito. Here's what's going to happen. And then let's end here. Tapos we will continue with other problems next time.
So it's like the in a point universe, like where could the Big Bang come from? It can come from anywhere. Parang ganun.
But
Anywhere
in this case,
anywhere on
ito, right? In this case, we should be able to figure out where the center is. Okay? So ito, this time, the drawing ko na lang, O1 and O2. Okay. Ang i-figure out natin, when we do the first translation, saan mapupunta ng mga points? Okay? So start with O1. And then when we do a rotation centered at O1, angle alpha, then if O1 is the center of rotation, O1 gets fixed. Okay? Hindi naman siya magbabago eh. And then if we do the rotation centered at O2, angle beta, so this time the location will be different. Let's call it O1 prime. Okay, let's call it O1 prime. But because the center is O2, then that means O2 O1 is the same as O2 O1 prime. Okay, bakit sila equal? Well, kasi O1 prime is the image of O1, and so their distances from the center O2 should be the same. Okay, so let me draw that here. Purple. So if this is the distance from O2 to O1, then the distance of O2 to O1 prime should be the same. So let's say doon napunta. O1 prime, and the purple segments are congruent. Okay, now what I'm going to consider next is not so much the image of O2, but rather if O2 is the image at the end of two rotations, saan tayo nanggaling? Okay, so let's do the reverse. Okay. Under the rotation with center O2, O2 is the fixed point. So dapat the precursor, this should be O2. Okay. So O2, and then rotate with center O2, the image is O2. Now, since O1 is a different center, so dapat the previous point should be a different point. Let's call it O2 double prime. Okay, so O2 double prime. So ibig sabihin, O2 double prime, wherever it is, and O2 should have the same center from O1. So O1, O2 prime is the same as O1, O2. Okay, so this time with O1 as center, nung O2 double prime, dapat ganun din ng ano. Pero actually, it's the same as the length of the segment connecting O2 and O1. So let's say here is where O2 prime is. Okay. O2 double prime. So again, nangyari, O2 double prime, after the two rotations, ito nung pinuntahan O2. And O1, after the two rotations, dito siya nagpunta. Now, what we're looking for is the center of rotation. Okay. From the drawings that we have drawn earlier, ito right from the very start, ganito na. If you were to look at A and its image A prime, okay, A prime, A prime is a chord of a circle. And if you take the perpendicular bisector of that chord, O should be in that perpendicular bisector. So takeaway point here, a point and its image, connect them with a segment, the perpendicular bisector should contain the center. So how is this helpful? Kasi dito, meron tayong dalawang pairs of a point and its image. O1, O1 prime. So they are connected by the reflection. Therefore, the center must be in the perpendicular bisector of this orange segment. And then O2 double prime, ang image niya is O2. Therefore, the center of the rotation should be in the perpendicular bisector of that segment. So now if you connect those two perpendicular bisectors, where else should they meet but the center of rotation? So that is how we connect, that is how we identify center O. Okay? But then, ganito. Sorry, no. I wasn't able to incorporate it into drawing. Okay. Actually, the perpendicular bisector of the orange segment should pass through O2 prime. Okay, kasi you have this isosceles triangle. And likewise, the perpendicular bisector of O2, O2 prime, it should pass through O, it should pass through O1 prime. Okay, malapit na tayong matapos. Kasi, look here. This angle is alpha. And then this angle is beta. So now if you look at, ito, ihihiwalay ko O2, O, and then here is the black center O. Observe that this angle is alpha over 2, and this angle is beta over 2. Okay, so these conditions allow us to figure out where is the center O. So to summarize, ganito. Okay, so consider R O1 alpha followed by R O2 beta. Assume that alpha plus beta not a multiple of 360 degrees. The result is a rotation with angle alpha plus beta whose center is the point O, okay, such that okay, so follow natin ng orientations. So ito. So ganun ng orientation niya. Kasi nung O2 prime, kita mo ng direction to O2. And then for the orange angle, so ganun siya. So actually, ganito ng direction niya. And ito. Next time, we will go back to this and use this in the next batch of examples. So such that angle O1, O2 is beta over 2, and angle O1, O2, O is alpha over 2. All right, so this is where we are going to pick things up next time, but at least na justify na natin to.
Yung ano dyan, wala naman po.
Okay. So the reason why the orientation is important, kasi kunwari, this is O1 and this is O2. So if you're just gonna look at the angles, the angle conditions, merong two possible candidates for O eh. So pwedeng, kasi kung kunwari, this is beta over 2, beta over 2, and then this is alpha over 2, alpha over 2. But the thing is, isa lang dapat dyan ng actual center. Alright, so we'll discuss that next time. Okay? So, okie dokie. We'll sige, we will, wala pa akong mabigay ngayon na problem. Hindi ko na lista. Next time, alright?
Opo.
Sige.
Okay.
Bye!
Thank you po. Bye-bye po.
Good evening po.
Alright. Good evening.
Opo. Bye-bye po.